Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you are landing in Canada as a visitor in Montreal International Airport to be specific, be very careful and be ready with your answers that you will potentially face in the immigration examination, because in the last month or so, I have received at least 10 different consultations from 10 different people where either they have been sent back home with a deportation order, with an exclusion order, their visas have been cancelled, and in some cases people have simply sent back home, right? Because they could not satisfy the CBSA officer at the border that they are indeed a bona fide member of the visitor class. So I'll tell you a couple of circumstances that my clients have faced in the last month or so that you are prepared with your answers. I'm Niladri Mukherjee. I am a regulated Canadian immigration consultant and I practice in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. So in one instance, the person was coming with his daughter to be with his wife, who is a Canadian student. The person got a prior refusal to Canada, and then the person could not satisfy the immigration officer that he is indeed a bona fide member of the worker class, because he is coming with an open work permit. Same with the Montreal International Airport. He was sent back home. He was given some time to drop off the daughter with the wife, and then he was sent back home with an exclusion order. That's number one. One Indian mother whose daughter is a student here in Canada was sent back home. Her visa was cancelled because, as per the officer, she was spending more time here in Canada as compared to the time in the home country. Yes, she has been to Canada a couple of times in the past, but all the time she left Canada well within the maximum period authorized for her temporary stay, yet her visa was cancelled and then she was sent back home. In another instance, a parents was visiting their son who is a peer here in Canada, and the parents are visiting from Chennai. They could not satisfy the officer that they have enough money with them, because they were carrying credit cards, which is logical in my opinion, and they have enough money in the bank account, but they could not satisfy the officer at the counter that they indeed have like enough liquid cash in there, with them, which will make them spend their own money. So these are at least some of the cases that I remember from my previous consultations that happened with my clients. If you are somebody who is landing in Canada as a visitor specifically, or even as a temporary work permit holder, for example, if you're doing it for the first time, or even if you're a repeat visitor to Canada, you have to ensure that whatever statement of purpose that's been gone with your visit visa application, for example, you're able to justify those reasons. For example, if you mention in your statement of purpose that you will be here in Canada for, let's say, 10-15 days, and if you have been residing here in Canada, at least you have resided in the past for, let's say, 100 days, you have to be prepared with answers. If you have mentioned that I have, let's say, 30 lakh rupees in my bank account, they may ask you to see if you still have 30 lakh rupees in your bank account. It may not be like exact 30 lakhs, but you still need to show that you have enough money with you at the time you enter the country. If you are a self-employed professional, be super careful with carrying your business document, your office document, or anything that shows your self-employed nature back home. If you are a working professional, please ensure to carry your office ID card with you. I've seen a lot of instances where the officer asked for it. If your brother lives in Canada, if your sister lives in Canada, or anybody close lives in Canada who has provided you with an invitation letter that you have attached at the time of your original visitor visa application, if possible, please carry a printout of that letter with you while you enter Canada. These are obviously some of the circumstances that came to my mind, but it could be anything. So at the time that you enter Canada, and particularly I will focus if you're an Indian national, if you're planning to enter into Canada as a visitor, specifically in Montreal airport, you have to be prepared with answers. Failing to satisfy the officer at the CBS officer at the border have negative repercussions. They may send you back home with an exclusion order. They can give you a voluntary departure order, or they can also give you a deportation order. None of them are what you are exactly looking for, because all of these would have some kind of negative repercussions on the future applications that you're going to make. So if you're unsure So if you've hired an agent who had done your job and you don't really know what all documents have gone with your application, if you don't know what exactly to tell the border officer while you enter the country, or if you don't know like what kind of questions you will potentially face, because this is a serious stuff, feel free to book a consultation. I have handled numerous cases on the similar topics, so I will be able to guide you in the right direction so that you do not make those mistakes. Answering the wrong questions at the wrong time may have serious ramifications that it is better to avoid. All the information regarding the consultation is on our is available on our website, nuvonation.ca, and feel free to book one. I'll be more than happy to have a case specific discussion with you. Bye now.